I say why, and why do you think it's so vital that we learn this these days?
Herbal medicine is people's medicine.
Yeah.
The World Health Organization says that 90% of the health care done on the planet is done by women in their own homes, with the use of what we might even call kitchen remedies. Because many of the herbs that women use for healing, they also use for seasoning their food. So it's a real close to home, close to the hearth fire kind of thing. You know, I think about the arc of herbal medicine, and at one end of the arc of herbal medicine we have like unclothed ancestors rolling in the herbs and absorbing them dermally and, you know, eating them with their food and getting it that way. And at the other end we have pharmacy. And we have everything kind of in between. A lot of herbalists kind of group over here being what I call faux pharmacists. In other words, they want to use herbs to be as drug-like as possible without actually having to go and get a pharmacy license or actually hew to any regulations about how drugs are made. Right. Whereas I've chosen more this other side of the spectrum, which is the simpler remedies. Like James Duke says, he wouldn't go walking in the Amazon without an onion in his pocket. Because he says, you go walking in the Amazon, you're going to get bit by something or stung by something, cut your onion in half, put it on your bite or your sting, you're fine. But that's not a real high-tech remedy, is it?
No, it's not.
So, many people wouldn't even think of that as herbal medicine.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. So, and I understand that. You know, Michael Moore started a workshop that I did with him, not the filmmaker, the herbalist, right, last fall by saying that he wanted us to know that any plant that couldn't kill somebody wasn't medicine. And that's certainly true of a drug. If it can't kill you, it can't get a license to be sold as a drug. Hello, look into the camera. Smile. Let your tongue hang out. Yes,
Wants
that's
to be
right.
An extra.
Oh, yes, but I was told never to go on camera with dogs or children because they always steal the show. They always steal the show because they're so much more alive.
Off you go.
Yes, you got it. Goodbye. I love you. Bye.
And yet, it seems so simple as an onion. Yet everyone, when I start classes, the thing that they say the most is that it seems so overwhelming.
Well, it takes 7 lifetimes to become an herbalist. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Because to be an herbalist, you don't need to know just about plants. You have to know about human anatomy, human physiology. You have to know about psychology. You have to know about the emotions, because the emotions are interplaying with what's going on. You need to know some botany. You certainly need to know some organic chemistry, even if only a waving glance at it. So there's and that's just kind of a beginning set there. So one of the things that I advise people to do to make it not so overwhelming is to choose one plant and start with one plant. And by changing the variables with that one plant, then we can begin to get a sense of the scope of herbal medicine and what we can do. So if we're learning to tincture motherwort and make an oil of plantain and make an infusion of nettle, it's all kind of scattered around. But if we take one plant like dandelion and we dry it and we make an infusion of it and we make a vinegar of it and we make an oil of it and we cook it and we start using that in a huge variety of ways, we begin to see, the plants are like people in a way. So you have certain strengths and I have certain strengths. And we can use those strengths in our service or in the service of almost anybody. But there are also a few things that we'd both do for very special friends that we probably wouldn't do for other people.
Right.
And plants are like that too, huh? Right. You become a special friend to a plant, it can really do a lot for you. And some things that maybe it wouldn't do for other people because you become a special friend.
Because many people think that, the herbs are going to learn tinctures and going to learn salves, and that's what herbal medicine's about. But I like to stress that relationship aspect. Yes. It really is all about relationships. So what do you it's like the herbs mentor us, right?
In a very real way, yes, you know. I first heard plants laughing at me, not talking to me. And I heard this laughter. I was living out in the teepee, and of course, first I heard, all the kind of big, obvious noises of the night, the whippoorwill. Cute, the first 100 times. Right, after that it gets a little grating. One night I counted 837 whippoorwills before it finally got tired and went to bed. And, the Katy did, and the crickets and all of that. And once you get used to that level of noise, then of course there's the rustling of the rhinoceroses and elephants and bears and lions and tigers, oh my, through the night that actually turn out to be mice and other very small things, and you learn to get accustomed to that. And then what I heard was laughter. And in my mind I said, is someone laughing? And the laughter got uproarious, and I said, ha 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 ha, yes, we're laughing. And I said, who's laughing? Who's laughing? And they said, the plants. We're laughing. I said, oh, you're laughing because, ha ha, life is funny, or you're laughing because, ha ha, I'm funny? And they said, ha ha ha, you are funny. I said, oh, I'm funny, okay. What makes me so funny? And they said, you tell people that the way the human beings learned herbal medicine was by trial and error. I said, hey, that's pretty obvious, right? Somebody goes over, they eat a plant, they die, everybody looks at them and says,
don't eat that
don't
one.
eat that one. I mean, well, the plants were laughing harder than we were laughing. Let's go, oh, please. That is so silly. Of course you didn't have to do trial and error. We told you which ones of us could be eaten, which ones were medicine, and how to use this. And I went, no. How could that be? And they said, do you notice we're talking to you? I said, oh. Now, let's just corroborate this a little bit. You've heard of the vine of the soul of South America, ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. If you ask a botanist trained anywhere in the world to identify ayahuasca, that botanist would have no trouble identifying ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. If you ask a South American shaman to identify ayahuasca, that shaman would say to you, which of the 4 ayahuascas do you want? No botanist can tell the difference between these. But you take another shaman from another culture where ayahuasca grows and say, show me ayahuasca, and that shaman will say, which of the 4 ayahuascas do you want? And throughout all of these cultures, many of which have been at war at each other, they all recognize 4 different ayahuascas, and they will all agree on which 4 they are. Even though they agree on precious little else, and we can't see the difference. Also consider just the huge number of plants in the Amazon rainforest. And the fact that ayahuasca has no effect by itself. It has to be taken with another plant in order for it to be effective. Somebody estimated that the odds of that happening by chance are about as good as the odds of a whole gang of monkeys actually writing King Lear, if they had typewriters.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, just the number of plants that people would have to experiment with and eat together at the same time just makes it virtually impossible that we found out how to use ayahuasca, and therefore I would think many, many other plants, because the plants told us, literally told us, this and this. Tell you a story from my life.
Yeah.
Next door to me is an area, little swampy, little marshy, drainage for about 500-600 acres.
Right.
And nettle grows there, really nice nettle grows there. And I was over harvesting some nettle, and the nettle said, get me out of here. I said, what? And the nettle said, get me out of here. I said, oh no, this is a nice place. This is wet, this is fertile. You like this. This is the place for you to be. Over where I live, it's really rocky. It's a quarry. You're not going to like it over there. And the nettle said, get me out of here. And it wouldn't leave me alone until I went back, got a spading fork, dug up some nettle root, and took it home. Planted it in the richest, moistest place I could find. 2 weeks later, bulldozers went over that entire lot.
Wow.
Did the nettle know? I think so.
Thanks.
2 weeks later.